everyone, and welcome to Class Dismissed, brought to you by Freedom Project Academy. I am Katie, joined by Dave, Jim, and Lindsay. Now we're going to get right into it with our first headline, which reads, "It costs an additional $303,418 to raise a child over 18 years, up 1.9%. So we all know that having kids does take time and energy.
Mm-hmm. They suck everything from
you. They do. And these days, apparently, it takes a lot of money, as you learned by the headline. The question is, though, if we are raising these kids over the course of 18 years, how much money are you really taking into account based on your state? And we're going to take a look at what the experts have to say.
It's expensive to raise a child.
How expensive,
It's
Ainsley?
gone up 30%, actually, nearly 30% over the past 3 years. It costs more than $300,000 to raise a child in the United States nowadays.
So apparently it's all about where you live. And the most expensive places are Hawaii, Maryland, and Massachusetts. Okay. Of course, the South, you get a break. $17,000 in Mississippi, Alabama, $18,000 in South Dakota, $18,000.
So that's over the course of 18 years,
Correct.
right?
For the first 5 years.
Right, but since 2023, they say the cost of raising a kid is up 27%. So just so you know, just keep track. They will pay you back. Right? If you just keep that invoice.
Most of this, though, is coming from the child care costs that is impacting.
Gosh, everything is so expensive. And what happens when you have a child is no longer are you buying things for yourself. Right. Everything goes to that child, and you think about them constantly.
Yeah, spoken like a mother. Like it's just, and everything goes to the child. Yep. So, again, just so everyone's aware, that's the overall average cost then is $303,418 after tax exemption and credits. And that's like what they are, I guess, guessing is the average cost for the course of the 18 years. Now, obviously, we know, one, it differs by state, but two, it's not only 18 years that you're taking care of.
No.
You have adult children.
Yep.
And so you
still
can speak
paying
to
for
this.
stuff for them.
So
they're jobless.
There's that. There is that. Now, all of this was according to a lending tree analysis, and it was fascinating how you even saw in the news package there the cost for the first 5 years and how insane it is in Hawaii. Hawaii tends to be just expensive in general. So it didn't surprise me, I guess, that Hawaii had the highest average. But overall, not even the first 5 years, the first 18 years, Hawaii does top the list at $412,661. So you have Hawaii ranking first, and this is a bad first if you want your money. Then you followed by Alaska, Maryland, California comes in fourth, and New Jersey rounds out the top 5 for most expensive to raise a kid for 18 years.
It seems like Hawaii is always number one on these lists when you look at how expensive if it is in this state or that state. Hawaii, always number one.
Yeah, always number one. But interestingly, who's at the bottom of the list? Where can you go and it not cost as much? It says that in New Hampshire, it's $201,963. And it says District of Columbia is $202,115. And I was fascinated by that, that they put DC in there and it being so low.
And
mostly
also
because
having
those people tend to not even have kids.
Maryland, and what was the other one that was high? Was it Maryland?
Massachusetts was up there?
They're all right there.
East Coast.
Yeah. The average, like lowest per year, numbers came in from Mississippi, Alabama, South Dakota. And that's because their daycare costs are lower. So they actually per year are going to be the lowest for those first 5 years. And so they kind of rank the numbers all over the place. So you can kind of finagle it to get whatever statistics out of it
Let me
you want.
cook here for a second here, Katie. As you know, the young people say, yep, cook it up, stir it up. I have an issue with some of this reporting on how much do kids cost.
Right.
Put a price on my kid. There is no cost.
Right.
It's
and
invaluable.
it's like fear mongering. We were just talking about the other week why people aren't having kids. It's because of stories like this, because you fear monger people and saying, oh, I can't afford this or this, that, and the other thing. You put a cost on your kid. And look at what the host says here. At the very end, she goes, well, then you're not buying anything for yourself.
Right.
That's just selfishness, right? As a parent, yes, you lose part of yourself
True.
when you have kids, but you gain so much more back.
True. I also have another beef with this story because in some of the statistics, they counted girls' apparel. Did you notice this?
No, I didn't even see that part.
Yes,
Oh.
just girls.
Maybe
Because it's more expensive.
Well, I have two boys.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, and I had 3 kids, so I'm approaching the million mark here, right? and I, like you said, Jim, I can't put a price on the value of my children.
Right.
It's indescribable. And what's interesting is you talked about the sacrifice that a parent gives, and especially a mother. And my wife will go to her grave with this notion that once you have children as a mother, it is no longer about you. It's about what can I do for my kids in a sacrificial, loving manner. And I think that's what they are not getting at in this story.
Exactly.
That is very true. That is very true. Says someone who has young kids, and I'm just
gets
starting
worse.
out.
It just gets
worse. So I'm just looking to you guys for wisdom. Thank you for that. All right. Well, we're going to move on because we need to talk about some AI-powered school. Could this be the new model? AI-powered school model sparks debate over a 2-hour classroom day at something called the Bennett School.
The pop of an aluminum bat. For students at the Bennett School in Houston, this is the sound of class for most of the day.
They're getting all of the things that they need to do done between 8 and 3, and then the evenings are theirs.
The Bennett School is an affiliate of Texas Sports Academy, which is a subsidiary of Austin-based Alpha School. Alpha School says its network of affiliated schools uses AI, artificial intelligence, to craft curriculum tailored to each student's learning level. The day begins with an intensified 2-hour learning stretch, giving students the rest of the time to focus on athletic training and practice.
We work in kind of the Pomodoro method, so short focused learning times, like 30 minutes or so, followed by 5-minute breaks, and then we repeat that several times, which then unlocks the rest of their day.
The Texas Sports Academy says state residents can enroll their kids in affiliated schools like Bennett using their $10,000 Texas School Choice voucher. The tuition for Bennett itself is $15,000.
It's unbelievable that these people actually qualify to take a voucher from the state.
Jackie Anderson, president of the Houston Federation of Teachers, says 2 hours isn't enough, especially when taxpayer funds help pay for student tuition.
It's appalling that anyone thinks that a person can be in school for 2 hours a day.
Yeah, so I don't wholeheartedly disagree with this approach. I do think when you have 2 hours of targeted instruction, you can accomplish quite a bit.
Right.
My question is, if that's the extent of their doing academics and then the rest is all sports pursuits, and again, I'm not opposed to sports pursuits and having schools that balance both academics with sports excellence, but where is the application to practice here? Because are they really building any sort of level of mastery in the academia if they're not practicing? Like even in our school, our kids go to live class 2 to 3 hours a day, and then they're also doing 2 to 3 hours of homework. So they're practicing what they're learning. I didn't get the sense that they're practicing any of the academics that they're learning. And when you think about it, anytime you want to learn a skill, whether that's dribbling a basketball, Jim, you play basketball, I'm sure you had to learn how to dribble, how to shoot, and it took a lot of repetitive practice, right? It's not something that you get in short little spurts here and there.
Right. I find that really interesting what you say is like 2 to 3 hours we do here at FPA and then 2 to 3 hours outside of class. I was homeschooled growing up. That's actually kind of the exact model that we did, right? We had 2 to 3 hours worth of homework. We did, or instruction, we had homework. And then, at 1 p.m. I was in my driveway dribbling a basketball, right? Shooting a basketball. I find that many schools, it's kind of interesting that the Association of Teachers here is the one that is knocking this program, because for so long, the public schools now have turned into sports academies.
Right.
That's really all they are. Go ask some of these, off the record, go ask some of the principals, what do you care about the most at your school? It's the sports programs.
Well, it brings in the most money.
Right.
Brings in the most money. So, and
Visibility.
you have programs like this all over the place, the IMG Academies, the Montverdes, Oak Hills for the basketball, and now they're just doing on a voucher program, so now they're getting upset about it, right? That's really all that it is. I found it funny. They're like, oh, we do 30 minutes, then 5 minutes off, then 30 minutes, then 5 minutes off. So for 2 hours, you're actually doing an hour and a half, hour 45, and then you're doing lat pull downs and practicing, doing BP for the next 5 hours of the day.
But what do you think about the benefits of team sports and the lessons that they're learning doing that versus some of these fluff classes that are in public schools?
Oh, absolutely. I think there's great value in team building and sportsmanship and working with other people, for sure. But again, I think in terms of expectation of learning, I did a research paper in my master's leadership program on discovering what some of the most accomplished and inspirational figures of our time, like Einstein, Serena Williams, Da Vinci, Michael Jordan, Marie Curie, Usain Bolt. Here's what we found. Relentless drive, precision practice, and a master teacher are what gave them the opportunity to excel in their respective fields. And so in his book called Drive, Daniel Pink talks about 3 things that matter when it comes to learning. Motivation. Our motivation is in autonomy, mastery, and purpose. And so when we have the freedom to control our actions and make decisions, we're more focused and engaged in our pursuits, whether that's academics or athletics. So autonomy and purpose really give us the opportunity to focus on that intrinsic motivation, driven by the internal rather than external rewards, right? And then drive is our insatiable hunger to push ourselves beyond the limits out of our comfort zone. And it's what psychologist Angela Duckworth calls grit. You've heard this term before, grit, the power and passion of perseverance. So people who excel, whether that's athletics or academics, do so not necessarily because they're naturally gifted and talented or intelligent, but because they work their tail off. They have a lot of grit. When they fail, they get back up and they keep at it. So I think there's some value here, but I do think when it comes to academic pursuits, we still have to think about what are we really mastering? And in the end, really, it's all about a standardized test, right? They're using the MAPS test to measure academic progress. And I still think that Common Core State Standards is a cookie cutter set of educational standards that are arbitrary, and it strips the value of the individual learner, because those Common Core standards were developed by politicians and the National Governors Association and professors in higher ed with very little input from K-12 educators. And it really eliminates any sense of value of the individual learner, in my opinion.
All right. So the thing that no one has addressed yet, that is the beginning of this whole headline, is that it's AI powered. And I guess this ties into what we're going to talk about next with an AI alpha school focusing on skills outside of the textbooks. AI is just a hot topic, isn't it?
It is.
Everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
This is a day in my life at the most controversial school in the world. I'm Dr. Allie, an ex-D1 softball player who started my own sports psychology business, but left it to work at an elementary school. Here's why. At my school, I don't actually teach academics. AI software does that. And it's all in only 2 hours a day. So my job in the first part of the day is to encourage students and support them emotionally and hold them accountable to achieve success. We have 3 to 4 recesses every day. So now it's time for another controversial activity, dodgeball. The kids actually love this game and beg to play it every recess.
Being a D1 softball player does have its advantages for dodgeball.
After lunch, I lead the life skills workshops along with our other amazing adult guides. Today, we have an art workshop, but the life skill is socialization. The kids are taking their art and giving it to their grand pals at the senior center. Another controversial thing, we don't have report cards. We have check charts. Students are working on memorizing the United States map, the Gettysburg Address, which is a storytelling check.
Our fathers brought forth.
Building a tower with magnetic tiles that's taller than me. I'm 5'11". That's a grit challenge because it's difficult. And many other checks. Last thing that is considered controversial.
We're about to do the kids' favorite time of week, paying them for their schoolwork.
We pay our kids to complete their work, and they use their money to buy prizes and toys, or even special privileges like trips to the zoo or a movie day. We hold our kids to very high standards. Every kid doesn't get a trophy, but every kid gets the support they need to be successful.
That's awesome.
This is interesting because this is the AI Alpha School primary school that then branched off to the sports one from last video. I don't know. I might take a different approach to this because, again, as a former homeschooler, you do 2 to 3 hours worth of work. And then after that, you kind of apply that work, like building a map of the United States, like practicing the Gettysburg Address, like building a tower out of magnet tiles. I think I did that with Legos quite often when I was a kid. So I'm still hesitant about the whole AI feature of this. I think it takes away a lot of the human element of things, but it seems like they are implementing quite a bit of the human element of this.
Yeah.
Agreed.
There's balance.
Yeah.
Which I think is much more so appropriate to have. You're engaging students in practical activities. I also love the fact that they're doing life skills study.
Yeah.
Lindsay, you and I were talking about that man you were mentioning who is kind of a mentor to some young people.
Yeah.
And teaching kids life skills is so important because oftentimes in education, and again, I say this respectfully, but sometimes parents aren't modeling the best life choices and life skills for their own children. So I think that's where quality schools who understand if we want these kids to be successful in society and positive contributors to society, we have to teach them certain life skills. So I do think there's some value in that.
But
And
then,
I like too that she says not everybody gets a trophy, but everybody gets the support they need to succeed. Yeah, that's life. Not everybody wins first place. You win, you lose, you go on.
you get a dodgeball kick into the head.
Oh, I want to be on her team, man.
I was waiting for her to throw it, and then she handed it to
dang.
one of the kids. I was like, come on, let's see what you got.
I want to do a little pushback just for the sake of argument. But is it the school's job to be teaching these life skills, or should they be devoting more time to reading, writing, and arithmetic?
Oh, absolutely.
That's a good point.
100%.
So this is the where do you draw the line question.
Yeah.
And if you look back at the previous story where it's 2 hours of AI tailored to the student, which seems to be all teenage boys because it's a baseball.
It's a baseball
Right.
school, yeah.
Which also begs the question: what if the kid decides I don't like baseball anymore, or I just got hurt?
Yeah.
And I can't even
Yeah,
practice.
that's-
Like, do they then decide to read a whole book instead? I don't know how
Yeah.
they
Do
spend
they
their
get
time.
kicked out?
What happens? But with that, like, these are all the considerations. What does a good school structure look like in America 2026?
I think we can all say we've seen much worse structures
True.
than that one.
True.
I was interested because she calls herself Guides. I was like, well, she's not doing
Guide on
this
the
for
side.
free, right? They're clearly going to school. They're on the voucher program, which I think in Texas you get about $10,000 per student for the voucher.
Yeah.
So I was kind of interested and did my research here. You want to take a guess at how much that school entry level cost is?
This one or from the previous video?
The AI Alpha School, the one we
For
just
elementary
watched.
children.
I don't know. The
Elementary.
baseball one was $15,000 a year. I'm gonna guess 18.
17.
According to their website, if this is accurate, it is $40,000.
Stop it. What?
Stop it.
The school there.
That's ridiculous.
Okay, I'm not going to pay that much to have my kid
No.
pegged in
For
the
a
head with
year?
a dodgeball. Maybe,
To build a
Oh, my
magnet
goodness.
tower?
Yes. Let's open our own that kind of
Oh
school.
my god.
Wowzers.
Okay, well, you know what?
If you guys don't see us
Everything-
next week, you know what we'll
You
be
know what
doing.
happened. All right. Well, here. Let's change the tune
Wow.
just a bit, because we've been talking about the students and how much they have to pay. But the question is, how much does a Texas kindergarten teacher make? You know, at the public school system? Because I
Jim's
guess
gonna
it-
get worked up over this
Enlighten
one.
me.
I guess it might.
Enlighten me,
It might
please.
be not enough.
He is not
I need to
excited
take a
for
sip
this.
of water.
How much my paycheck is as a Texas teacher of kindergarten and what I do with it. So my direct deposit hit today, it was $7,500.81. I did pay the rent at our condo because I am responsible for that. That was $3,581. Some change. I'm just going to round everything up here. My utilities for the month at the condo were $1,200. My gym membership is $251 a month. I had groceries delivered this month twice for a total of $548. I did not have enough money this month to move anything to savings. The payment on my G-Wagon is $1,548. I didn't do
okay,
anything
Jim.
for my kids this month because it was a tight month. As you know, teachers do not make a lot.
Nothing.
And then I did get my hair done twice and my nails, totaling $500. I didn't get gas this month. That was my husband's bill.
I'm dying
After
over
I
here. I'm
add
just
everything
dying.
up, it was a grand total of negative $124. And that I'll borrow from a friend. I love being a teacher.
Okay, I just want to say something before we say anything else. If you're friends with this woman, don't be giving her no money. Don't be giving
Enabler.
her that
We call that an
$124.
enabler.
Yeah, you're just gonna make it worse. Okay, that's
She seemed pretty certain that she was going to be able to borrow that from someone.
Her friend,
mean,
not her
But this-
husband, who has his own.
so at most her income is $90 a year.
It's like $90K, right?
Okay, a G-Wagon, they start at about $155,000.
I did look up what a G-Wagon was. I had no idea. I was like, oh, what?
What is she doing?
No.
And
No insurance. Don't forget. No insurance.
no insurance. Oh,
$3,500 for rent. I'm already stressing. I hope this is a
Yes.
high rise in the nicest place
Yes.
in downtown, wherever Texas you are. Austin, probably $1,200 in utilities. Do you just leave the lights on at all times of the day?
probably, yeah.
You
AC
spend
running.
zero money on your kids.
they don't get
It's a
nothing.
You
tight
spend
month. It was a tight month. Jen.
$500 on
Stop.
nails and $1,500 on a vehicle.
I told you. I told you.
So this story is exactly why the last story, where they were actually paying the kids to do school, is needed, because she clearly does not know how to budget. She doesn't know how to use the money that she has.
I hope
She's
she
a
is.
kindergarten
I
teacher.
hope she's
okay?
not
They
teaching
count to
math.
20 and then
My
they start to
goodness.
count to
Still,
100.
math is math. She's not. I would be better at teaching
math's
math
not
than that
mathing.
woman.
The math ain't mathin'. Oh my goodness.
And what, $250 for a fitness membership a month? You can go to Life, what's it called? Planet Fitness for 15.
And why did she give one of these leans? Like,
Yeah, right?
I think she did this. I think she flexed.
Checking her figure.
I mean,
she's probably spending $500 on nails because she keeps breaking them at this expensive gym
Yeah.
she goes to.
Ooh, good
yeah,
one.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Let's
And then
move
she's
on.
not
I need
strong
to-
enough to carry her own groceries, so she had them
No, she had to get him
twice.
delivered.
Oh my
Twice
goodness.
this month for $500.
Yeah, but her nails are looking.
Wait, so if you
good.
spent here, question: if you're getting delivered, like her groceries are only $548, and she couldn't spend money on her
No.
kids, which means she has kids, and you're only spending $548 for the whole month, but she's doing that same amount just on her nails and her
Right.
hair.
Yes.
I'm
This
even
is-
nervous to ask,
this
like,
is,
what does her husband
How do you
spend money
say that you have a 300
Gasoline
credit
only.
score without saying you have a 300 credit score?
I don't know. But
You can't have a G-Wagon unless you carry
you're right.
insurance.
Right.
They won't let you have one.
Maybe she had it,
I-
and then she doesn't, you know?
This
don't
is
know.
the
I
kind
don't
of
know.
person who gives teachers a really bad rap.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, the good news is we have good teachers
do.
Correct.
here at Freedom
We do.
Project
Praise the
Academy,
Lord.
which just kicked off the 16th year of enrollment. And of course, we are celebrating by spotlighting the incredible teachers who make all of this happen. And of course, this week we have to highlight Mrs. Deanne Landsberg, who basically has been here since the beginning of the beginning with our elementary program. Let's take a look.
My name is Dan Landsberg, and I teach third grade. I live in Wisconsin, and I have two children who are grown and both recently married. So now I also have a son-in-law and a daughter-in-law and a grandpuppy. So that's important. So yeah. Probably getting to know the students, because it's a little bit more of a challenge, but it's really fun because they get to show pictures. I have a student of the week and they get to share, and we just chat all the time, and I try so hard to get to know them on a personal basis, and it works, which is kind of surprising to a lot of people. And it's fun to get to know the families too, especially when we have repeat families going through. It's fun. I would describe it as using lots of games, activities, polls, songs to get the kids engaged. And I think a lot of people misunderstand online school, and we were pre-pandemic, so this is what our school was made for. And so I think our whole elementary team does a great job of making sure the kids are engaged. Oh, funny, we were just talking about how it would be so fun to all meet at the Shed Aquarium. Because we study ocean animals, and they're fascinating. They're just such a great part of God's creation. And some of them have been to some local aquariums, but the Shed, is pretty cool. And if we could all meet there, that would be so cool. So, yeah. I want them to know that Jesus loves them, I love them, and that they had a blast in third grade learning.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, Mrs. Landsberg is one of the OGs, I think, since the very first year of our elementary program launching. She's been with us. And a few years ago, she had the privilege, because she lives locally, of attending our in-person graduation ceremony. got to see one of her former third graders graduate, which was super cool.
Oh, cool.
Because they obviously
That's so
don't
cool.
get to meet in person that often. So that was really neat to have her here and to have kids that she taught in grade 3 walk across the stage to get their diploma.
That's awesome. All right, well, we are proud to say that Freedom Project Academy has been awarded Christian School of the Year by Education Insider. So if you would like to see what makes FPA stand out, visit freedom4school.com and explore our live, anytime, and homeschool courses. Use code CD10 for Class Dismissed to save 10% on your tuition. All right, well, that's going to wrap things up. If you do enjoy the show, please subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow the podcast on Apple and Spotify. You can find all of the links at classdismissed.tv. We will be back next Tuesday with another great conversation. For Dave, Jim, Lindsay, and myself, have a great week. Check out FPA. And until next time, Class Dismissed.